So this SuperSCADA training video just talks about wear parameters. So what you do is you go to the home menu at the top left here and select SuperSCADA, then parameters, and then feed device. Now feed device, it means everything that can feed material. So that means a normal weighing, what we call weighing in scale. Weighing out scales, it also means liquid meters and so on. So let's look at the device. Now these are the devices on this site as it's configured, and you'll recognize your own, I'm sure, on your site. So if we go and click on W1, weigher 1, so these are all the parameters for this weigher. So first of all, the weight comes in from the PLC, and when the weigher is at 0, the value from the PLC, what we call ADC values, that's analog to digital converter. So the value from the card comes in and it's 2620. So down here, the calibration span, so that's 13.322. So that's ADC units per kilogram. So for every kilogram that the scale goes up by, it goes up by 13.332. So therefore, if the weigher had 2 kilos in, it would be this 2620 plus twice this. So let's look at the other parameters then. Calibration, so this is a 2-ton weigher. Now if you want to change any of these, you just click on the value, you can change it and then press save. So I will not change this. So the value coming in from the PLC, so the minimum that can come in is 0. So we never expect to read anything less than 0, and we never expect to read anything more than 32,000 here. Something like the refill limit is 0 because it's not used, it's not a refilling scale. So the tear limit is set to 10. Oops, I didn't. So that if the weight, before it starts, if the weight is more than 10 kilos or less than minus 10 kilos, it will stop and will just alarm to say the scale is out of tear. So the stabilization weight, when the weigher finishes feeding, it stabilizes for weights for 2 seconds as long as the weight hasn't gone up by another 5 kilos. And the same thing for slow feed. So if it's feeding and it doesn't go up by 5 kgs in 10 seconds, then it will alarm. Now on normal weighing in scales, the feeder that feeds material into the weigher will continue. But on a liquids weigher, it's quite often a pump and things, there could be problems. So on a liquids weigher, it would normally stop and let the operator retry it. I jumped over 2 values here, refill, but this is not a refilling weigher, so they are not used. So discharge weight, so it's the same thing. When the weight gets below the tear unit, as long as it doesn't move by more than 5 kilograms in 10 seconds, then it's discharging. So the stabilization weight, so that means it's got to stay within 10 kilos, 2 seconds on discharge. If I just scroll down a bit more, the extra discharge time, it's not relevant here, but on some sites you can actually ask for extra stabilization time, extra discharge time after it finishes its discharge. The refill volume weight won't be used because it's not a refilling scale, and the discharge volume weight, this is to do with simulation. The purge time, I'll come on to that in a moment for liquids, but it's not used for normal weighing in scales. So if I go back and then go to ML1, now ML1 is a mixer liquid. So the value that comes in from the PLC, it will be 0 before it starts, and the calibration span here is 0.1. So for every 10 ADC units coming in from the PLC, then it's a reading of 1 kilo. So 1 kilo, it means it goes up by 10 kilos. So if you want to, you can change the calibration span here. Likewise, for the weighing in weight, there's a minimum and there's a maximum. So just so that you can't go negative, you can't go more than 999. This is not a refilling scale, so it's blank there. And the discharge limit is not particularly relevant because this is a metering liquid. So the stabilization weight, same thing again. When it stops, it's got to stop within 1 kilo for 2 seconds. Refill weight is not relevant because it's not a refilling type of scale. And slow feed, so if it doesn't go up by 2 kilos in 5 seconds, then it generates an alarm. And for liquids, it would normally stop the valve or pump, whichever it is, once you get to that alarm. And then the operator would have to accept the alarm for that to retry. Discharge, slow discharge and discharge rate is not relevant because it's metering feeder. And the discharge volume flow rate is really for simulation. And finally, the purge time. So on this side, when the feeder stops, there's an air valve which opens and then pushes air in for 5 seconds just to clear the line out. So hopefully that explains most of it for you. Thank you very much.